In this tutorial, we'll fork and edit a leaflet map with GitHub following these 4 steps: forking, publishing, modifying the code, and geocoding and uploading some new points. Okay, let's go to the template that we've created for this tutorial. It's called Leaflet Map Simple. Right now you're looking at my version. We have to sign into your GitHub account. So I'm going to type in my DataViz for all account. Get the password right and sign in. And I want to make sure it's really me, so I'm going to go up and just check. Yep, I'm signed in as DataViz for all on GitHub. Now I've got to go hit that fork button. That's going to automatically copy a version to my account. It takes just a second or two, and poof, we can see that, yes, I'm on my DataViz for all account, and there is that template, and it's forked from the original version. Great. So now what I'm going to do in this code repository is go click on Settings. I'm going to scroll down to see the GitHub Pages section. This is the section that hosts whatever code you have on a live website. I have to go down and say master branch, save. So whatever code is in my master branch is going to be published to the web. Scroll back down to it, and there's the link. I've got to right click, and I'm going to copy that link location for my next step. That's where it's going to be published on a live website. Scroll up and click the top link to go to the home repository for my code. And let's go to this README file. I need to go and edit, click that little pencil symbol to edit this README file. And it's in a simple code called Markdown. Let's just zoom in with the browser so we can see it more clearly. And the first thing there, it says, I've got to replace that link to the old website with the link to my live map that I just created a moment ago. So I just pasted in that link, and that's going to point to the map I've just made on my own account. I have to hit that green button to commit or save the changes. And I'll go back down here, and I can see that link in my little README file. And I'm going to right click that to open that in a new tab. And let's go on over, and poof, here it is. It may take a second to pop up the first time, but there it is. There is my very simple map. I've got ability to zoom in and out. I've got exactly 1 point on it with a little pop-up marker and a title. So I need to make some changes. Let's go back to the Code tab. And I'm at the top level of my code repository, and I want to go down to the file called index.html. That contains most of the code template. I want to go over and hit that pencil button to edit the file once again. And this may look intimidating at first, but let's just see what it says. This is the code. This is what's opening up something called the Leaflet code library that's going to open the map, and this Omnivore plugin that's going to process data for the map. This next section here is all about positioning where the map and the map title are going to be. And here it is, actually the actual map title itself. When you see edit in all caps, that's a signal that you could probably make a easy change here. So I'm going to remove the title that was in there and type in a new title called Higher Ed in Hartford Region. And once again, I have to scroll all the way down and hit that green commit button to save those changes. Okay, let's go up to that tab I left open. That's the live map, and I'm going to refresh this. And this may take a few seconds. It may take up to a minute during very busy times on GitHub, but this is the simplest way for beginners to sort of like see what your new code looks like. So I'm going to hit that refresh button a few times and be patient. And here it comes. Higher Ed in Hartford Region. My title has appeared in my map. Let's go make some more changes. I'll go back to that index file. I'll go click on the pencil symbol to edit it again. And I'm going to keep scrolling down. In this section here, it's called Setting Up the Map with a Zoom Level and Zoom Initial Center. And right now it's set to be at 12. I'm going to reduce that to an 8. And that's going to zoom the map out when it starts up. I'll commit those changes. Go back up to my tab to see what it looks like. Got to refresh it. It may take a second or two for those changes to come through, especially during very busy periods on GitHub. But this is a simple way for users to see it as long as you're patient. And poof, it zoomed the map out at the default view. Let's go change some more things. I'm back at the index tab. I'm back on editing this file. Let's scroll down even further, past the zoom levels, and let's get into this section here. There's something here called map layers, and I've got one map layer here that's appearing by default. This one is called the Carto map, and see how it has this dot add to map, and the one below it, this thing called terrain map, it doesn't have that thing. So the code comments here are basically saying if I type in period add to with a capital T parentheses map and erase it from up here. So I'm just switching where that add to map appears, but I'm making sure to preserve the semicolon. I go back down, hit the commit changes. Let's go over and see what it looks like. I've got to refresh the tab again. May take a second or two or even longer during busy times on GitHub. I'll hit the refresh pages symbol one more time. Always be patient. And here it comes. Here's the changes I've made. I've got a terrain map, and you can actually see the code credits at the bottom. Stamen is the map provider, the base map provider. Let's go back and index one more time. Let's edit the file again. Let's scroll further down, and let's try a different type of change. There's some code here that's going to actually make a control panel pop up to change the layers automatically. And I need to erase those little backslash symbols right in front of these lines of code. Those are called code comments. When the slashes are there, it's grayed out, meaning it's not active. But notice when I take out those slashes and just those slashes, it becomes colored code. And I've got to do the same thing right below here in the map layers to make the control layers work for that base map, the Carto gray base map, or the light gray. And this one here, I have to take out those two little hashes for the Stamen terrain map. So now I've got a control panel code that's going to make those map layers appear by default. And let's go back over to the live map. Let's hit the refresh button. Let's be patient. Hit the reload button. 10 seconds is very common. Up to a minute is not unheard of during busy times on GitHub. And let's try it one more time. Nope, a little bit longer this time. Let's be patient. Here we go, it came through. Up here in the upper right corner, I've got these little control radio buttons that turn on the two different base maps, so users could switch from one map to the other. Let's go make some more changes. Don't forget to hit the edit pencil button. Let's scroll down even further. And this last section of code that's got here is there is a one marker with a pop-up text, and you can see the coordinates there, and you could edit the coordinates or edit the text of that one pop-up marker, but instead I want to comment it out. I'm going to put in those two little backslash symbols to gray it out in this part of the text. And the code below it is something called uploading markers from a data.csv file that's already uploaded to the repository. So I just need to take out the code comments for that section underneath. I'm just erasing those little two backslash symbols for each line going below. And as you can see, every time I'm doing that in this part of the code is turning from grayed out to live code. It'll be active code. And I don't have to understand all the instructions, but basically doing it's pulling a layer of markers from a file called data.csv. So let's commit those changes. And let's just go to the repository and see where that file is. It's already there in the template. Here it is, data.csv. If I click on that, GitHub is great. It actually shows you what a CSV file looks like. And look, I've got three rows there. Each one is a title, an address, and some latitude, longitude points. So let's go over and see what the live map looks like. Let's give it a second. And poof, that one does a quick update. And here I've got three different markers, and you can see I've got a new control that turns them on and off. Each one of those, there's the University of Hartford, Capital Community College, and there's Trinity College. So those are three markers that are in the file there. So let's be a little more ambitious. Let's go make our own data.csv file and upload it. And I've got a Google Sheet here, a template that has a way you can make your own. First, you have to sign in with your Google account. Remember, when you're viewing one of my Google Sheets, you can't edit it unless you go and sign in and then request and then make a copy. We'll show you how to do that. So first, you've got to sign in with your Google account. And let's go over, it's view only right now, means you can't change anything unless you go to File, and go to make a copy. And it's going to, by default, call it copy of. I'm just going to get rid of the copy of part. It's going to save it in my drive or any particular folder, and I hit the OK button, and there it is. And I know that it's my version now because it's got the title, but also there's my username in the upper right corner. So I'm going to close the old tab where the original one was, and now I'm in one that I can change. So what's interesting here is there's a built-in geocoder on this page. If I go over and select and hit the delete button to get rid of that data, I can drag from address all the way over to the source column from one end to the other and hit this new geocoder button that's in that spreadsheet. And I can say geocode this with US Census. I have to continue, I have to get permission for it to go to the US Census site and try to find latitude and longitude coordinates for each of those addresses. And look, it's actually doing it for several of them fairly quickly. There, hit the OK button, and I've got, I think, 9 that were done and 2 that are blank. It could not find matches for either of those 2 addresses. So I can select just that row from address to source, and I can try the other geocoder, the Google Maps geocoder. It's trying that one, and it's got a match there, at least a partial match. And oh, I see what happened there. The address I had did not have the full name of the street in it. So here's the same thing over here. I can try the other geocoder. And now I've got latitude, longitude points for all of those addresses right in my Google spreadsheet. I can go to File, Download As, and download it as a comma-separated values or CSV sheet. It only does that sheet I'm looking at. But if I save that file, I'm downloading it to my computer. Let's go look at my downloads here, and it downloaded it, but it gave it a much longer name, so I'm just going to go and right-click on it because I want to rename it to be just the same as the old one, data.csv. So I'm going to rename my computer. Now it's data.csv. Great. And let's just hold that for a second. Let's go back over to my code repository in GitHub. So what do I do here? Well, I want to make sure I'm at the top level of the code, and I am. And I want to go over, that's my current data CSV, but I want to go upload a new one. So go to the Upload Files tab, and I can bring my downloads from a computer back over and literally drop and drag that new file, data.csv. See, it's uploading it there when I say commit changes. So it's taking the many address points called data CSV, and it's copying it on top of the existing ones. I can double check it. I clicked on data.csv in my GitHub, and yep, all of those new address points and the latitude and longitude are there. Great. So let's go back over to the live map and refresh. And look at that. It zooms to the correct level so it can fit all of the markers inside, and all of those have the pop-ups that are the title. So that's one way to make and modify a simple leaflet map template. You can experiment with the code. You can always go back to your GitHub main account and check all of your repositories and just find all of your repositories you've made there.